You owe me. You owe me everything, and you know it. My son's voice bounced off the conference room walls. His finger pointed at my chest like a knife. I didn't flinch. Not anymore. Say that again. I said, you heard me.
I'm the only one who stuck around.
I'm the one who helped you after Dad died. I'm the one who, you moved back into my house. I cut him off. You slept in my basement for free. You ate my food. You used my car. Derek's face reddened. Because you needed me. Because Dad left you nothing but a pile of debts and a house that's falling apart. I pulled the manila folder from my purse. Thick. Worn at the edges. The paper inside had my husband's handwriting all over it. His final words. His final truth. This is what your father left, I said. And you're going to listen to every single word. Derek laughed.
No RMTH.
Just air pushing through his teeth. What's he gonna do, come back from the dead and lecture me you're the one who owes me? You and him. Both of you. Mr. H.A. Risen, the family attorney, Clea read his throat from the corner of the room. His silver hair caught the fluorescent light. Eleanor, are you ready to proceed? Ready, I said. Derek threw himself into a chair. Arms crossed. Legs spread. The posture of a man who'd never been told no. Read it. I want to see how little he thought of me. I opened the folder. The paper smelled like my husband's study.
ZR. Coffee.
Old books. I could see him at his desk, fountain pen in hand, writing these words. He'd been so careful, so precise. To my son, Derek William Matthews, I leave the family home on Magnolia Lane. I leave the lake house in Tennessee. I leave the portfolio of bonds and stocks I managed for 20 years. I leave everything I own. Derek sat up straighter. His arms uncrossed. That's just the list. Wait, I said. There's more. I turned the page. My hands shook. I pressed them flat against the table to steady them. But the inheritance is contingent. Derek must understand his origins. He must know, before he receives a single dollar, that the man he called father was not his biological parent. He must know that I chose him, that I loved him not because I had to, but because I wanted to. The room went dead quiet. Even the buzzing of the overhead lights seemed to stop. Derek read at me. His mouth opened.
Closed.
Opened again. What the hell are you talking about? I read the next line. My voice cracked on every word. Derek's biological father is Michael Torres. He died in 1998. Derek was 12 years old. I don't know anyone named Michael Torres. You wouldn't, I said. I never even knew his last name until you were born. Until the hospital asked me to fill out the certificate. Derek stood up. His chair scraped the carpet. Mom, what are you saying? It happened in 1985. I was 20 years old. I just moved to Nashville. I was walking home from my shift at the diner. He followed me. Stop. Derek held up both hands like he was pushing me away. I'm not listening to this. You need to hear it. Your father found out 6 months after we got married. I told him everything. The police report, the medical records. He knew, Derek. He knew the whole time, and he chose you anyway. Derek grabbed the edge of the table. His knuckles turned white. You lied to me.
My whole life.
You made me call him Dad. You made me believe. I protected you. You protected yourself. His voice was a roar now. You needed a man to take care of you. So you found someone willing to raise another man's kid. That's exactly what you did. He was pacing now. Boots scuffing the carpet. Left.
Right. Left.
Like a trapped animal. You know what? It makes sense now. Every time he looked at me, every time he seemed disappointed, it's because I wasn't his. I was never his. Your father loved you. He didn't love me. He tolerated me. There's a difference. I slammed my hand on the table. The folder jumped. Pages slid. He stayed up nights with you when you had croup. He coached your little league teams. He paid for college. He bailed you out of jail. He chose you, Derek. Every single day. Derek stopped pacing. He looked at me. His eyes were wet. I'd never seen my son cry. Not once. You should have told me. Would it have changed anything? He didn't answer. Mr. H.A. Risen pulled a second envelope from his satchel. Cream-colored. Sealed with wax. There's a letter for you, Eleanor. Your husband asked me to give it to you if things got difficult. Derek S.T.A. read at the envelope. What else are you hiding? Everything, I said. And nothing. Your father wrote this letter. I haven't read it, but I know what it says. How? Because I knew him. I broke the wax seal. The lion crest crumbled under my thumb. I knew the man he was. And I know he spent 40 hours trying to give you something no one gave him. What's that? The truth. I unfolded the letter. 12 pages.
Handwritten.
I read it silently at first. Then aloud. Dar Eleanor. If you're reading this, you've probably forgotten what my voice sounds like. I hope that's not true. But I know memory. It fades. That's why I'm writing this. So you don't forget the most important thing. I chose you too. Derek sat down Haw Road. The chair squeaked. When we met, you were broken. You flinched when men walked too close. You held your shoulders so tight you looked marred. I knew something happened to you. And I fell in love with you anyway. Not because of it. Not in spite of it. Just because. My voice broke. I stopped. Took a breath. I raised Derek as my own because he was my own. Blood didn't matter. DNA didn't matter. What mattered was he was a child who needed a father, and I was a man who needed a child. But Derek changed. He sta root to resent us. Resent me. Maybe he could feel the difference even without knowing why. Derek covered his face with both hands. The ring in this envelope belonged to my mother. She wore it on her right hand. She said it reminded her to be brave. I'm leaving it to you, so you can be brave too. Brave enough to let him go. Brave enough to let him come back. Brave enough to know the difference. I stopped reading. The letter was still in my hands. My husband's handwriting swam before my eyes. I pressed my palm to my chest. The gold band was cold against my skin. Derek pulled his hands away from his face. His eyes were red. His cheeks wet. He really knew.
The whole time.
He really knew, and he stayed. He stayed, I said. Every single day. He stayed and he loved you, and he never told a soul. Why? Because that's what love is. It's not about biology. It's about choice. He chose you, and you spent 34 years throwing that in his face. Derek stood up, so fast his chair tipped over. I didn't know. Does that matter? Ignorance doesn't undo damage. I don't know what you want me to say. I don't want you to say anything. I opened my purse. Pulled out my CAR keys. I want you to leave. Come back when you've thought about this. Really thought about it. I want the rest of the inheritance. There's no rest. That's it. The house. The lake house. The portfolio. But only if you can listen. Only if you can understand what I just told you. And if I can't, then you get nothing. And I walk away. Derek sta read at me. That's not legal. You can't. I can. Mr. H.A. Risen spoke.
His voice was calm.
The will is airtight. Every contingency addressed. Your mother has full discretion over the distribution. She's not my mother, Derek said. The words hit me like a slap. I didn't flinch. Not out loud. But inside, something cracked. Get out, I said. I'm not going anywhere. I said get out.
My voice was steady. Leave. Now.
Take your CAR. Take your anger. Take your resentment. But get out of my sight. Derek grabbed his jacket. His boots hit the door.
He stopped.
Turned back. You still owe me. No matter what that piece of paper says. You owe me a father. You owe me a childhood. You owe me. I owe you nothing. I cut him off. I gave you everything I had. Everything. And you threw it away. You threw it all away because you couldn't see past your own anger. Derek's face went pale. Then red. He opened his mouth. Closed it. Mr. H.A. Risen broke the silence.
Derek.
There's one more thing in the will. A final conditional codicil. I sta read at the attorney. What codicil? He pulled out another sheet of paper.
Clean. White. Different handwriting.
Not my husband's. A witness's. Your husband added this 6 months before he died. He wanted it read only after Derek's initial reaction. If the son displayed greed, anger, entitlement, or refusal to acknowledge the truth, then the terms of the codicil activate. Derek stepped back from the door. His jaw tightened. What terms, Eleanor? You own the house, the lake house, the portfolio. And Derek gets $1,000 RS. For the last time he asked for gas money. I froze. My hands went cold. That's not his handwriting. I witnessed it, Mr. H.A. Risen said. He told me why. If he doesn't see it by now, no amount of money will teach him. Derek's face twisted. That's full. That's completely. He are the man. My voice came out strong. Your father knew exactly who you were. And he loved you anyway. But love doesn't mean you get to drain me dry. This is illegal, Derek said. I'm contesting. I'll find the best lawyer in Tennessee, and I'll take you for everything. Good luck. I stood up. Your father's lawyers spent 18 months on this. Every loophole closed. Every challenge addressed. But go ahead.
Try.
It'll be you and the lawyers and the endless court dates. And me, I'll be at the lake house, sitting on the porch, watching the sun set. Derek grabbed the door. This isn't over. It's over enough for me.
He left.
The door slammed. The pictures on the wall rattled. I stood in the middle of the conference room. The letter was still in my hand. The ring was RM against my chest. Mr. H.A. Risen walked over. He placed a hand on my shoulder. Eleanor, you did the right thing. I lost my son. Did you ever really have him? The words hung in the air. Heavy. Uncomfortably true. That I sat down. Pressed the heels of my hands to my eyes. I didn't cry. I was too tired. He's not coming back. I said, he might. Mr. H.A. Risen sat across from me. But not until he understands. And that might take years. Or it might never happen. I know. Are you okay? I laughed. It came out hollow.
No.
But I will be. How can you be so sure? Because I promised my husband I would be. And I keep my promises. Mr. H.A. Risen helped me pack the papers. The folder was lighter now. The envelope was empty except for the letter. What will you do? He asked. I'll go home. I'll make coffee. I'll sit in my husband's chair. And I'll remember. Remember what? Everything. The good Pa RTS. The bad Pa RTS. All the Pa RTS that made a life. Mr. H.A. Risen nodded. That's a brave thing to do. It's the only thing to do. I walked to the door. My hand was on the handle when he spoke again. Eleanor, he left you something else. In the letter. The last page. Did you read it? I pulled out the letter. Flipped to the last page. My husband's handwriting was smaller here. Tighter. Like he was running out of room. Eleanor, if you're reading this, you're on the other side of the HRD party. I'm proud of you. I was always proud of you. Not because you were perfect. Because you were real. Because you tried. Because you loved HRD, and you stayed even when you wanted to run. I pressed the letter to my chest. I'll be waiting. Not in heaven. I don't know if I believe in that. But somewhere. Somewhere quiet. Where the coffee is hot, and the sun sets low. Come find me when you're ready. Take your time. I'm not going anywhere. Mr. H.A. Risen was watching me. Are you ready? No, I said. But I'm getting there. I walked out of the office. The parking lot was bright. The summer heat hit me like a wet towel. I stood there for a minute. The sun burned my eyes, then I got in my car. I drove home. I made coffee. I sat in my husband's chair. And I remembered. The letter was in my lap. The ring was on my finger. And for the first time in 40 years, I felt like I wasn't lying a secret. Like I was just lying myself that Derek would come back. Or he wouldn't. I couldn't control that. But I could control this. I would live. I would live the way my husband wanted me to live. With honesty. With courage. With love that didn't expect anything in return. The sun set over Magnolia Lane. I watched it from the porch. And I smiled that I didn't sleep that night. Not a single minute. The house on Magnolia Lane had been ours for 32 years. My husband bought it with a down payment from his first job. We painted the shutters blue. We planted roses along the walkway. We built a swing set in the backyard for Derek. That swing set was rusted now. The chains had been replaced twice. The seats had been repainted 3 times. But it was still there. Still standing. Still waiting for children who never came. I sat on the porch from midnight until dawn. The letter was in my lap. The gold ring was on my right hand, just like my husband's mother wore it. I turned it around my finger, round and round, like I was trying to wear it smooth. My phone buzzed at 2 a.m. Derek, you ruined my life. I didn't reply at 3 a.m. Another text, I'm going to make you pay for this. I swear to God. I set the phone face down on the porch swing. The wood creaked under me. I'd sat in this same spot 1,000 times. With Derek on my lap. With my husband's arm around my shoulder. With the summer breeze and the fireflies and the sound of crickets. Those nights felt like another lifetime. Now that it's sunrise, I went inside. I made coffee. I stood at the kitchen sink and looked out at the backyard road. The grass needed mowing. The fence needed painting. The rose bushes were overgrown. I'd let everything go since my husband got sick. 3 hours of doctors and hospitals and waiting rooms. 3 hours of watching him shrink. 3 hours of pretending I wasn't already grieving. The phone buzzed again. Not Derek this time. Mr. H.A. Risen, Eleanor. There's been a development. Please call me when you get this. I didn't call. Not yet. I finished my coffee. I showered. I dressed. I did all the things normal people do on normal mornings. Then I drove to the lawyer's office. Mr. H.A. Risen was waiting for me. His silver hair was uncombed. His glasses were smudged. He'd been there all night, pacing, waiting, worrying. Derek contested the will, he said. Formal petition. Filed at 5 a.m. with the Davidson County Probate Court. I sat down. That's fast. He's got a lawyer. A good one. She specializes in will contests involving emotional distress and undue influence. Undue influence. He's claiming you coerced your husband into changing the codicil. That you manipulated him when he was sick and vulnerable. I laughed. It came out bitter. Manipulated him. I spent 3 hours changing his bedpans. 3 hours holding his hand while he vomited from chemo. 3 hours telling him it was okay to let go. That's manipulation. Eleanor, I know the truth. But the court doesn't. And Derek's lawyer is going to paint you as a desperate woman who couldn't stand the thought of being left with nothing. I was left with nothing. The codicil gives everything to Derek. I'm the one who walks away. Walked away with the house, the lake house, and the portfolio. No, wait. The codicil reverses the distribution. He got the $1,000 RS. You got everything. I leaned back in my chair. The leather was cold against my back. So that's his angle. He's saying I stole from him. That's the angle. Yes. And the fact that he screamed at me, the fact that he said I owed him everything, the fact that he couldn't even listen to his father's letter without storming out. Your word against his. And his lawyer is going to make that a very ugly fight. Mr. H.A. Risen pulled a thick file from his satchel. Photographs. Medical records. Bank statements. I've read for this. I knew your husband's family. They litigate. They're aggressive. The apple didn't fall far from the tree. He's not my husband's son. I know, but the law doesn't CA about biology. It's CA residential about intent. And your husband's intent was crystal clear. He wrote 17 drafts of this document. He met with me 43 times in the last year of his life. Every single meeting was recorded. Every single witness was vetted. You have recordings, I have everything. The old man was thorough. He knew Derek would fight. I read at the file. There was a photo on top. My husband, 6 months before he died.
Pale. Thin.
But smiling. He was holding a fishing rod. The lake house behind him. The sun on his face. He knew. I said, he knew. And he wanted you to win. Win what? There's no winning here. There's only damage. Only broken pieces. Mr. H.A. Risen closed the file. Eleanor, I've been doing this for 40 years. I've seen families are themselves APART over jewelry, over property, over grudges older than their children. But this one is different. Your husband didn't just leave you money. He left you a choice. You can fight, or you can walk away. Both a valid. Both a his gift to you. I didn't answer. I picked up the photo. Traced my finger over my husband's face. What would you do? I asked. Me, I'd burn it all down. But that's my nature. I'm a litigator. I like the fight. You're different. You're the peacemaker. Not anymore. I tucked the photo into my purse. Tell me what I need to do. At 9 a.m., Derek walked into the office. He was wearing a suit. A real one. Not the cheap off-the-rack version he wore to his father's funeral. This one was tailored. Expensive. He had a woman with him. Red hair. RP eyes. She was riding a leather portfolio and a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Eleanor, the red-haired woman said. Her handshake was brisk, businesslike. I'm Sandra Vance. I represent your son. He's not my son. Not anymore. Derek flinched. Just a little. But I saw it. Let's not be dramatic, Sandra said. We're here to resolve this civilly. Civilly, I laughed. He texted me at 2 a.m. He swore he'd make me pay. That's civil. He was emotional. Understandably. You dropped a bomb on him yesterday. His father dropped the bomb. I just delivered it. Mr. H.A. Risen stepped forward. Sandra, let's cut the posturing. You know the will is airtight. You know the codicil is incontestable. You're here to negotiate a settlement. Everyone's here to negotiate a settlement, Sandra said. But let's be clear about the facts. Derek was the only child. His father never disinherited him until the final 6 months of his life. That's a pattern of coercion. And we're willing to take it to a jury. Take it to a jury, I said. I'll bring the recordings, the 43 meetings, the 17 drafts. I'll bring the medical records. I'll bring the letter where your client's father said, I love you anyway. And then we'll see who the jury believes. Derek's face twisted. You're threatening me. I'm not threatening you. I'm telling you the truth. The same truth your father tried to tell you. The same truth you refused to hear. I heard it. I heard every word. I heard you say I was the product of a... He stopped. His jaw clenched. He couldn't say, of a rape, I said. That's the word you're looking for. I was 20 years old. I was walking home from work. A stranger followed me into an alley. He held a knife to my throat. He told me to shut up or he'd kill me. So I shut up. And I survived. And I ride you for 9 months. And I loved you from the moment you were born. And you have the nerve to stand here and tell me I owe you something. The room went silent. Even Sandra looked uncomfortable. I didn't know, Derek said.
His voice was smaller now.
The bluster was gone. You never told me. I couldn't. I was ashamed. I thought you'd see me differently. I thought you'd look at me and see the weakest moment of my life. And I was right. You did. You looked at me yesterday, and you saw a victim. You didn't see a mother. You didn't see a woman who gave everything she had. You saw someone who owed you. And that broke me. Sandra read her throat. This is very moving. But it's also irrelevant to the probate proceedings. Derek is the biological child. Legally, that gives him certain. He's the biological child of a dead rapist, I said. And your client's biological father died in 1998. Derek didn't even know his name until yesterday. The man who raised him isn't related to him. And that man left a will. With clear instructions. And I'm following them. End of story. Eleanor. Mr. H.A. Risen put a hand on my arm. Calm down. I don't want to calm down. I've been calm for 34 years. I've been the good mother. The patient mother. The mother who never raised her voice. And look where it got me. Look at the man my son became. He doesn't see me as a person.
He sees me as an ATM.
He sees me as someone who failed him because I didn't give him everything he wanted. Derek read at the floor. His hands were in his pockets. He looked smaller than I'd ever seen him. "Mom," he said quietly. "Can we talk alone?" "Absolutely not," Sandra said. "Stay out of this," Derek snapped. "It's between me and my mother." I looked at him. Really looked. The wrinkles around his eyes. The gray in his stubble. The way his shoulders slumped. He wasn't the angry young man who'd stormed out yesterday. He was a tired middle-aged man who'd just reneged everything he thought he knew was a lie. "Alone," I said. "But I'm not promising anything." Mr. H.A. Risen showed us to a smaller room. The mediation suite. Beige walls. Fake plants. A round table with 4 chairs. I sat on one side. Derek sat across from me. We faced each other like opponents in a chess match. "Okay," he said. "I'm listening." You really listening?" "I'm trying." I reached into my purse. Pulled out the letter. My husband's letter. The 12 pages I'd read and reread until I knew every word. "I want to read you something," I said. "More letters, more secrets. One letter. One secret. Then you can walk away if you want. You can take your lawyer. You can contest the will. You can drag me through every court in Tennessee. But you're going to hear this first." I unfolded the letter. The creases were soft. I'd handled it so many times it felt like silk. "To my son, Derek. If you're reading this, you're probably angry. I know you. I know your temper. I know your pride. And I know you'll want to fight. But before you do, I want you to know something. I'm not your father by blood. I'm your father by choice. And that's the only kind of father that matters. You used to sit on my lap when you were little. You'd grab my fingers and squeeze them. You'd say, 'Daddy, tell me a story.' And I'd tell you about the lions. About the brave ones who protected their prides. About the ones who stayed even when it was easier to leave. I thought about leaving once. When your mother told me the truth. I was young. I was red. I didn't know how to raise another man's child. But then I saw your face. You were 6 weeks old. You were looking at me with those big blue eyes. And I knew I couldn't leave. I knew I had to stay. I stayed for 40 years. Every single day, I chose you. Not because I had to, because I wanted to. And that's what I need you to understand. Love isn't about biology. It's about choice. And I chose you, Derek. Every single day. In every single way. Derek's hands were on the table. His knuckles were white, but his eyes were wet. He didn't wipe the TRS. He let them fall. "Keep going," he whispered as I turned the page. "I know you'll be angry about the codicil. I know you'll think I betrayed you. But I didn't. I protected your mother. And I protected you. Because if you can't see what she gave up, you're not ready to be the man I know you can be. The money isn't the point. The house isn't the point. The point is gratitude. The point is understanding that you didn't aren't any of this. You inherited it. And inheritance isn't a right. It's a gift. And gifts are only gifts if you receive them with humility." Derek pressed his palms to his eyes. His shoulders shook. I'd never seen my son cry. Not once. Not at his wedding. Not at his divorce. Not at his father's funeral. But he was crying now. "She's not my real mother," he said. His voice was muffled behind his hands. "Is that what you're telling me?" "Derek, look at me." He pulled his hands away.
His face was red.
His eyes were swollen. "She's not my real mother," he repeated. "She was assaulted. You were a gift," I said. "You were the only good thing that came out of the worst night of my life. And I loved you from the moment I felt you kick. I loved you when you were born. I loved you when you were a toddler. I loved you when you were a teenager. I loved you when you got arrested. I loved you when you yelled at me. I loved you when you blamed me. And I love you now, even though you just tried to take everything I have. Everything you have, you got everything. I got $1,000 RS. That's not what I wanted. That's not what your father wanted. He wanted you to RN. He wanted you to see." Derek buried his face in his hands again. "I don't know how to see. I don't know how to be grateful. I've never known how to be grateful. I've just been angry. Angry about what? Everything. I don't know. That's the problem.
I don't know why I'm so angry.
I just am. I've always been angry. Even when I was a kid. Even when you guys were good to me. I was just angry. I reached across the table. I took his hand. His fingers were cold. That's not your fault. But it is your responsibility. And you can either keep being angry, or you can try something different. I don't know how. Start by telling me the truth. What do you actually want? Not the money. Not the house. What do you want? Derek was quiet for a long time. The room was silent except for the hum of the fluorescent lights. I watched him work through it. I saw his jaw flex. I saw his throat move. I want to know him, he said. Dad, I want to know who he was. Not the dead guy. The guy who raised me. I want to know why he stayed. I want to know why he loved me. Because he was good, I said. That's the only answer. He was just good. He loved people. He loved you. He loved me. And he spent his whole life trying to show us. He didn't show me. He was always distant. Always critical. Always. He was red. I squeezed his hand. He was red of losing you. So he pushed. He pushed because he thought that's what fathers do. He pushed because he wanted you to be better than him. He pushed because he didn't know how else to show he red. Derek shook his head. I didn't see it. I just saw a man who was never satisfied. That's because you were looking for the wrong thing. You were looking for approval. He was trying to give you something better. He was trying to give you strength. I let go of his hand. I pulled the gold ring off my finger. His grandmother's ring. The one that reminded her to be brave. I'm giving you this, I said. Not the house. Not the money. This ring. It belonged to his mother. She wore it on her right hand. She said it reminded her to be brave. He left it to me so I could be brave. And now I'm leaving it to you. So you can be brave too. Derek read at the ring. He didn't take it. He just read. I can't, he said. Why not? Because I'm not brave. I'm a coway road. I've been a coway RD my whole life. I blamed you because it was easier. I blamed him because it was easier. I never faced anything. I just ran. I placed the ring in his palm. I closed his fingers around it. Then you can start now. It's not too late. I don't deserve this. Deserve has nothing to do with it. Your father didn't give you everything because you deserved it. He gave it to you because he loved you. That's the whole point. Love isn't transactional. It's not about running. It's about giving without expecting anything back. Derek slipped the ring onto his finger. It was too big. It swam around his knuckle. He looked at it for a long moment. Then he looked at me. What do I do now? That's up to you. You can go back to Sandra. You can fight. You can drag me through court. And you'll win. Because no matter what, you're still his son. You're still entitled to everything. Or you can let it go. You can take the $1,000 RS. You can start over. You can be the man he wanted you to be. Derek stood up. He walked to the window. He looked out at the parking lot. At the cars. At the people walking in and out of the building. I don't know who I am, he said. I thought I knew, but I don't. Then figured out. How one step at a time. One day at a time.
You talk to people.
You listen. You Aaron. You try to be better than you were yesterday. Derek turned around. His eyes were still wet, but something else was there too. Something I hadn't seen in a long time. It looked like hope. Stay with me, he said. What? Don't leave. I know I messed up. I know I said horrible things. But I don't have anyone else. It's just you and me now. I stood up. I walked over to him. I put my hand on his shoulder. I'm not leaving, I said. I'm here. I've always been here. You just never saw me. Show me. He grabbed my hand.
Please.
Show me how to see. I didn't answer with words. I pulled him into a hug. He was stiff at first. Uncomfortable. But then he relaxed. He put his arms around me. He buried his face in my shoulder. And we stood there. In the middle of the mediation suite. A mother and her son. Finally holding each other. The door opened. Sandra Vance stuck her head in.
Derek.
Are you okay? He pulled away. He wiped his eyes with the back of his hand. I'm fine. We're done here. Done? What does that mean? It means I'm withdrawing the petition. He turned to me. I'm not contesting the will. You can have everything. The house. The lake house. The portfolio.
I don't see a re.
I just want my mother back. Sandra's face went white. Derek, that's a terrible decision. Your mother could easily get out. Derek said, excuse me. I said get out. This is between me and my mother. And you're not part of it. Sandra sta root to speak. But something in Derek's face stopped her. She closed her mouth. She nodded. And she left. I watched her go. I didn't feel relieved. I didn't feel angry. I just felt tired. Come on, I said. Let's go home. Home, a house on Magnolia Lane, yes. It's your house. It's always been your house. You just forgot. We walked out together. Through the conference room. Past Mr. H.A. Risen. Past Sandra Vance, who was muttering into her phone that we got in the car. I drove. He sat in the passenger seat. We didn't talk. The sun was setting over Nashville. Red and orange and gold. The sky looked like it was on fire. Mom, Derek said. Yeah, I'm sorry. For everything. I know sorry doesn't fix it. But I am. One step at a time, I said. That's all we can do. We drove home in silence. The house on Magnolia Lane was waiting for us. The roses were overgrown. The grass needed mowing. The swing set was rusty, but it was still there. And we were still there. And that's where it begins. The house felt different when we walked through the door. Not smaller. Not bigger. Just emptier. The silence pressed against my ears. Derek stood in the foyer, his hands in his pockets, looking at the family photos on the wall. There we were, at Disney World. Derek was 7. His smile was wide. His front teeth were missing. My husband had his arm around my shoulder. We looked like a post-gay road. That was a good trip, Derek said. His voice was quiet. I remember the hotel pool. You guys let me stay up past midnight. We watched fireworks from the balcony. You cried, I said. The fireworks were too loud. I cried. You were 7. Everything was too loud. Derek laughed. It was a broken sound. Rusty. Like he hadn't used it in years. I don't remember crying. You don't remember a lot of things. He moved to the next photo. Christmas morning. Derek was 10. He was holding a red bicycle. His face was covered in wrapping paper. My husband was kneeling beside him, tightening the training wheels. He put that bike together at 3 a.m., I said. He couldn't sleep. He was so excited. He was excited. He was always excited. He just didn't show it the way you wanted him to. Derek touched the glass. His fingertip traced the outline of his father's face. I wish I'd known. You knew.
You just didn't see.
I walked into the kitchen. The coffee pot was still warm from the morning. I poured 2 cups. Black. The way we both drank it.
Derek followed me.
He sat at the table. The same table where he'd done his homework. Where he'd fought with his father. Where he'd announced he was dropping out of college. This is weird, he said. What is being here? Without him. It's like the house is holding its breath. I sat across from him. It is. Houses do that. They remember. We drank our coffee in silence. The kitchen clock ticked. The refrigerator hummed. Outside, a lawnmower sta root up. Somewhere down the street, a dog bear. The will, Derek said. The codicil. You said there was more. PART3. The distribution. I got the $1,000 RS, but you said there was more. There is. Then read it. I'm ready. I think I'm ready. I pulled the folder from my purse. The pages were crisp. The ink was faded. My husband's handwriting was shaky. Tawa, RD the end. His disease had taken his strength, but not his CLA righty. To my beloved wife, Eleanor. If you're reading this, you've already survived the worst PART. Now it's time for the best PART. The house on Magnolia Lane is yours. The lake house in Tennessee is yours. The portfolio is yours. Use it well. Use it wisely. And if Derek RNS his inheritance, you can give it to him. But only if you Leah RNS to be grateful. Only if he Leah RNS to see you. Only if he Leah RNS to love the way love was meant to be given. Derek sta read at the paper. He wanted you to test me. He wanted you to Leah RN. There's a difference. Leah RN what? I folded the paper. I set it on the table. Leah RN that you're not the center of the universe. Leah RN that other people have feelings. Leah RN that your mother isn't a bank account. Leah RN that love isn't about what you get. It's about what you give. Derek looked away. His jaw tightened. That's ha-RSH. Your father wasn't ha-RSH.
He was honest.
And honesty isn't always comfortable. He was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, I need to see the lake house.
Now. Tonight.
I need to go there. I need to see where he spent his last summer. I wanted to say no.
It was RK.
It was late. I was tired. But something in his voice stopped me. Something I hadn't heard in 30 years. It was the voice of a boy asking for something he really needed. Okay, I said. I'll pack a bag. We left at 7 p.m. The sun was low. The highway stretched ahead of us like a ribbon. Derek drove. I sat in the passenger seat. We didn't talk much. The radio played country music. Old songs. Songs my husband used to sing. Did he ever talk about the lake house? Derek asked. All the time. He wanted to retire there. He wanted to fish every morning. He wanted to teach his grandchildren how to cast a line. Derek's knuckles tightened on the steering wheel. He never had grandchildren.
No, he didn't.
Because I couldn't keep a marriage together. Because I couldn't stop. I put my hand on his arm. Don't do that. Don't blame yourself. Who else is there? Nobody. That's the point. It wasn't your fault. It just happened. Life just happens. The lake house was 2 hours away. We drove through the RK. The STARS came out. Bright and cold. The kind of STARS you only see in the country. We pulled up at 9 p.m. The house was a cabin. Rustic. Wooden. It had a porch and a dock and a rowboat that hadn't been used in years. The moonlight reflected off the water. Silver and gold. Derek got out of the car. He walked to the dock. He stood there with his hands in his pockets. The wind came off the water. It smelled like pine and moss, and something I couldn't name. I walked out to join him. He used to stand here every morning. He'd have his coffee. He'd watch the sun come up. He said it was the most peaceful time of the day. He never brought me here. You didn't want to come. He asked you.
Twice.
You said you were too busy. Derek didn't answer. He read at the water. The ripples caught the moonlight. What happens now? He asked. What do you mean, with us?
With this.
With everything. What happens? I don't know. That's the honest answer. I don't know what happens. But I know one thing. I'm not going to spend the rest of my life pretending I'm fine when I'm not. That's a START. It's the only START I've got. We went inside. The cabin was small. 1 bedroom. A loft with 2 twin beds. A kitchen with a wood-burning stove. A fireplace that had seen better days. Derek built a fire. He was good at it. He'd learned from his father. The same rifle technique. The same attention to detail. He taught you that. I said. Taught me what? How to build a fire. He taught you when you were 12. You didn't want to RN. But he made you do it anyway.
Derek laughed.
I remember. I was so mad. I wanted to be inside playing video games. You complained the whole time. But you Ned. And now you're building a fire in his cabin. He sat back on his heels. The flames caught. The light danced across his face. I guess some things stick. Some things do. We sat by the fire. The logs crackled. The cabin creaked. The water lapped against the dock. It was peaceful. More peaceful than I'd felt in years. I'm going to sell it, Derek said. The cabin? The house. The house on Magnolia Lane. I'm going to sell it. Why? Because I don't deserve it. And I don't want it. I want a START fresh. Somewhere new. Somewhere I can be someone new. I didn't argue. Where will you go? I don't know. Somewhere west. Maybe Colorado. Maybe Montana. I need space. I need to think. I thought about it for a long moment. If that's what you need, then that's what you should do. You're not mad. I'm not anything. I'm just tired. And I'm just sad. But I'm not mad. Derek read at the fire. His eyes were to RK, reflective. Mom, he said, yeah, thank you.
For telling me.
For reading the will. For not giving up. I'll always be your mother. That's the one thing I know for sure. We sat there until the fire burned down. The embers glowed orange and red. I fell asleep on the couch. Derek covered me with a blanket. I woke up to the smell of coffee and the sound of birds. He was on the dock.
Fishing.
The same way his father used to fish. The same posture. The same patience that I walked out with my coffee. Catch anything, I think I caught a cold, he said. But no fish. I sat down beside him. The dock was cold. The wood was wet with dew. The sun was coming up over the trees. Pink and orange and gold. I'm going to be okay, he said. I don't know how, but I'm going to be okay. You're strong. You've always been strong. I've always been angry. That's different. It's the same thing sometimes. Anger is just strength that doesn't know where to go. Derek nodded. He cast his line again. The bobber hit the water with a soft plop. Ripples spread out in concentric circles. That I've been thinking about, Dad, he said. That about what? About the letter. The one you read. About love being simple. About people making it complicated. That was in the letter, it was in the codicil. The part you didn't read yet. The part that was just for me. I looked at him. What did it say? He paused. He reeled in his line. It said, Derek, love is the only thing that matters. Everything else is noise. Everything else is decoration. Love is the foundation. And if you can't build on that foundation, you'll never build anything at all. So start with love. Even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard, start with love. I felt tears in my eyes. I didn't wipe them away. He was right, I said. I know he was. And I've been building on noise my whole life. On anger.
On resentment.
On blame. And look where it got me. I'm 34 years old. I have no wife. No kids. No job. And the only person who still talks to me is sitting on a dock with a cup of coffee. That's not nothing. It feels like nothing. It's more than you think. We fished for another hour. Then Derek said, I'm going to leave tomorrow. So soon, I need to go. I need to find myself. I can't do that here. I wanted to beg him to stay. But I didn't. I'd learned that lesson. You can't keep someone who doesn't want to be kept. Come back, I said. When you're ready. When you've found what you're looking for. Come back. I will. Promise me. I promise. We packed the car that night. Derek left his keys on the kitchen counter. He left his father's ring on the windowsill. He left the fishing rod by the door. You're not taking anything? I asked. I'm taking memories. That's enough. He hugged me. A real hug. Not the stiff, uncomfortable kind. A hug that lasted. A hug that said everything he couldn't put into words. I love you, he said. I should have said it more. I should have said it every day. I love you too.
And you can still say it.
You have time. He got in the car. He rolled down the window. Mom, I'm sorry. I know. Not just for the will. For everything.
For all of it.
I know. Now go. He drove away. The taillights got smaller and smaller. Then they red round the bend that I stood in the road. The wind was cold. The stars were bright. And I was alone. But it was a different kind of alone. The kind that didn't scare me anymore. The kind that felt like the beginning of something. I went inside. I made coffee. I sat in my husband's chair, and I said out loud, well, George, I did it. I don't know if I believed in heaven, but in that moment I believed in something. Something bigger than myself. Something that connected me to him. The next morning, I got in my car. I drove back to Nashville. The sun was bright. The sky was blue. It was the kind of day that made you believe in second chances. I stopped at the lawyer's office. Mr. H.A. Risen was waiting for me. He's gone, I said. Where? I don't know.
West.
Somewhere. He left. Mr. H.A. Risen nodded. You okay? I'm fine. I'm better than fine. I sat down. I opened my purse. I pulled out the folder. I want to change the will. Eleanor, You're the sole beneficiary. There's no one to change it to. I want to change it anyway. I want to leave everything to Charity. All of it. The house. The lake house. The portfolio. Everything. Mr. H.A. Risen Sta read at me. Are serious? I've never been more serious. I'm not going to live in that house anymore. I'm going to sell it. I'm going to give the money away. To what Charity? To women. Women who've been through what I've been through. Women who need help. Women who need a second chance. Mr. H.A. Risen pulled out his notepad. I can make that happen, but you need to be sure. I'm sure. 100%, 100%. He sta root writing. The pen scratched against the paper. It was the sound of closure. When will Derek find out? He asked. Eventually. When he comes back. If he comes back. And if he doesn't, then he doesn't need to know. He already got what he needed. Mr. H.A. Risen set the pen down. Eleanor, I've known you for 40 years. I've seen you at your worst. And I've seen you at your best. This is your best. Thank you.
No. Thank you.
You're the strongest woman I've ever met. I left the office. I drove to the house. The house on Magnolia Lane. It was still there. The roses were overgrown. The grass needed mowing. The swing set was rusty. But it was still my house. And I was still me. I walked through the front door. I walked up the stairs. I went to the bedroom. I opened the closet. My husband's clothes were still there. I touched the sleeve of his favorite shirt. It smelled like him. It smelled like the life we'd had. I took the shirt out of the closet. I pressed it to my face. Goodbye, I said. I'll see you soon. Not too soon, but soon. I put the shirt back. I closed the closet door. I went downstairs. I made a pot of coffee. I sat on the back porch. The sky was clear. The birds were singing. The sun was warm, and I smiled because I knew that my husband was watching. I knew that he was proud. I knew that the story wasn't over. It was just beginning a new chapter. The chapter where I wasn't a wife. And I wasn't a mother. I was just Eleanor. And that was enough. The phone rang at 9 p.m. I picked it up. Mom, Derek. Where are you? I'm in Colorado.
I found a job. It's just a small thing.
But it's something. I'm proud of you. I got your letter. The one you left on the kitchen counter. Good. I read it. I read it 12 times. And I get it now. I really get it. Love is simple. And I've been making it complicated. I felt TRS in my eyes. You get it, I get it. And I'm going to call you every week. Every Sunday at 7 p.m. Every Sunday. I promise. I'm going to be better about that. About everything.
Okay.
I love you, Mom. I love you too, Derek. I hung up. The TRS came. But they were good TRS, the kind that clean things out. The kind that makes space for something new. I sat on the porch. The STARS were out. The air was COL. And for the first time in 40 years, I felt like everything was going to be okay because I had let go. And by letting go, I had found myself. And that's what my husband had wanted all along. He hadn't wanted me to hold on. He had wanted me to let go. To be free. And I was, finally,
completely
freed. At the first Sunday at 7 p.m. came faster than I expected. I sat on the back porch with my coffee. The phone was in my lap. I watched the minutes tick by on my watch. 6:45, 6:50, 6:55. The sun was setting over the neighbor's fence. The roses I'd finally pruned were blooming again. Red and pink and white. They looked like they were on fire. The phone rang at exactly 7 p.m. Mom. Hi, Derek. I'm calling. I said I would. I know you did. There was a pause. I could hear traffic in the background.
Karese honking.
Someone yelling, Where are you? I asked. Denver. I got a job at a RDWA store. It's not much, but it pays the bills. That's good. That's really good. I'm renting a room. Small place. But it's mine. I smiled. I couldn't help it. Do you have a porch? No porch. But there's a park across the street. I sit on a bench there. It's nice. You sound happy.
Happy, he laughed.
I don't know if I'm happy, but I'm not angry. That's something. That's everything. We talked for 20 minutes. About nothing. About everything. About the weather.
About his job.
About the new coffee shop he'd found. It was small talk. But it was ours. I'll call next week, he said. I'll be here. The next Sunday came. And the next. And the next. Every week, Derek called. Sometimes he talked for an hour. Sometimes just 10 minutes. But he always called ISTA route to notice the changes. His voice was softer. He laughed more. He asked about the roses. He asked about the lake house.
He asked about me.
How are you doing? He asked one Sunday. I'm fine. No, really. How are you doing? I thought about it. The house was quiet. I'd sold the portfolio. The money was in a trust for the women's shelter. The lake house was still mine. I hadn't sold it. I couldn't. I'm good, I said. I'm really good. Are you lonely sometimes? But loneliness isn't the same as being alone. I'm Leah, learning the difference. Derek was quiet for a moment. Dad used to say that. He said being alone was just a fact. But loneliness was a choice. He did say that. He said it to me once, right after we found out he was sick. He was SMART. He was wise. There's a difference. On the sixth Sunday, Derek said, I want to come back. Back where? Home. To Nashville.
Not to stay.
Just to visit. I want to see the house. I want to see you.
I felt my hair erteshit.
When next weekend, I can get a few days off work. I could fly in on Friday night. Leave on Monday. I'll pick you up. Mom, I'm nervous. Why? Because I don't know if I'm the same person I was. And I don't know if you'll like who I've become. I laughed.
Derek.
I've liked you since you were born. Even when you were difficult. Even when you were angry. I've always liked you. I don't deserve that. Deserve has nothing to do with it. That's what your father taught me. Love isn't about deserving. It's about giving. He was quiet again. Then he said, I'll text you my flight details. I'll be at the airport. The next Friday, I drove to the airport. The terminal was crowded. People running. People crying. People hugging. I stood at the arrivals gate and watched the doors slide open and closed. Then I saw him. He was thinner. He was wearing jeans and a flannel shirt. He had a BEA-RD now. Not a full BEA road. Just stubble. He looked like a different person. He looked like someone who'd been through something. He saw me. He stopped walking. We stood there for a moment, just looking at each other. Then he walked over. He hugged me. A real hug. The kind that lasts. Hi, Mom. He pulled back.
He looked at me.
You look good. You look younger. I sold the portfolio. That's why. The stress just lifted. He laughed. You sold it every penny. It's going to a women's shelter. A good one. They help women who've been through what I've been through. Derek's smile faded. You didn't keep any of it. I kept the lake house. And I kept the house on Magnolia Lane. That's all I need. He shook his head. You gave away millions. Just like that.
Just like that.
It wasn't my money. It was your father's. And he wanted it to do good. We walked to the CAR. Derek put his bag in the trunk. He got in the passenger seat. He looked out the window as we drove. Nashville hasn't changed, he said. Some things change. Some things stay the same. The house is still there. The roses re-blooming. The swing set is still rusty.
He laughed.
Good. I want to see it. We drove home. The street looked the same. The neighbors' houses looked the same. The fence was still white. The mailbox was still crooked. Derek got out of the CAR. He stood in the road. He looked at the house. I used to hate this place, he said. I know. I used to hate everything about it. The porch. The roses. The way the windows looked from the street. I used to hate it all. And now he turned to me. His eyes were wet. Now it looks like home. I unlocked the front door. He walked in. He walked through the living room, the kitchen, the hallway. He touched the walls like he was looking for something. Where's his chair? Derek asked. In the study. I couldn't get rid of it. He walked into the study. He stood in front of the chair. It was a worn leather chair. The arms were cracked. The cushion was flat. My husband had sat in that chair every night for 30 years. Derek sat down. He leaned back. He closed his eyes. This feels like him, he said. It does. He sat here and worried about me. He sat here and wondered why I was so angry. He sat here and prayed for me. And I never knew. Prayed, he told me once. Before he got sick. He said, I pray for you every night, Derek. Even when you're not talking to me. Even when you're not here. Derek opened his eyes. I didn't believe him. I thought he was just saying it. He meant it. Your father meant everything he said. Derek was quiet for a long time. Then he said, Can I stay here? Just for the weekend. I want to sleep in my old room. It's still your room. It's always been your room. He went upstairs. I stayed in the study. I sat in the other chair. The one I'd always sat in. The one where I'd knitted SCAVs and read books and watched my husband sleep. I could feel him in that room. Not like a ghost. Like a memory. A warm one that Derek came down for dinner. I made his favorite. Meatloaf. Mashed potatoes. Green beans. Just like I used to make. You remembered, he said, some things you don't forget. We ate in silence. It wasn't an awkward silence. It was the kind of silence that happens when two people are comfortable with each other. I've been thinking, Derek said. About what? About Dad. About the letter. About everything he wrote. And he was right. About the anger. About the resentment. About how it was eating me alive. How did you figure that out? He set down his fork. I was walking in Denver. Just walking. I didn't have a destination. I just walked. And I passed this man on the street. He was homeless.
He had a sign.
It said, I used to be angry too. Then I let it go. I smiled. That's a good sign. I thought it was ridiculous at first. A sign is going to change someone's life, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. I used to be angry too. Then I let it go. Did you let it go? I'm trying. Every day I'm trying. Some days are easier than others. Some days will always be harder, but you're trying. That's what matters. After dinner, we sat on the back porch. The stars were out. The crickets were singing. The air was warm. This was always my favorite part of the night, Derek said. When you'd sit out here, Dad would read the paper. You'd drink your tea. And I'd be inside watching TV. But I could hear you laughing. You could hear us. I could hear everything. Even when I pretended not to. Why didn't you come outside? He was quiet for a moment. I don't know. I thought I was too cool. I thought sitting with your parents was for kids. I was an idiot. You were a kid. That's what kids do. I wasted so much time. You have time. You have all the time in the world. He looked at me. Dad didn't. He ran out of time. Your father didn't waste his time. He spent every moment doing exactly what he wanted. He loved you. He loved me. He loved his life. And when his time ran out, he was ready. Derek nodded. I think I'm getting there. To that place. Where I'm ready for whatever comes. That's a good place to be. I want to come back more often, he said. Not just on holidays. Not just once a year. I want to come back, every month. I want to sit on this porch with you. I want to watch the sun set. I'd like that. I'd like that a lot. I drove Derek to the airport on Monday morning. He hugged me at the terminal. I'll be back in 3 weeks, he said. I'm already planning it. I'll be here. I know you will. He walked through the security line. He turned and waved. I waved back, and then he was gone. I drove home. The house felt different. Not emptier. Just different. Like it was waiting. Like it knew he'd be back. I went to the study. I opened the drawer in my husband's desk. The one he'd always kept locked. I'd found the key in his jacket pocket. The one he wore to his funeral. Inside the drawer were letters.
Dozens of them.
All addressed to Derek. I pulled one out. It was dated 3 years before he died. Dear Derek. Asterisk, I know you're not speaking to me right now. I know you're angry. But I want you to know something. I'm proud of you. You're a good man. You're a strong man. And you're going to figure this out. Asterisk, asterisk, I'm not going to be around forever. I know that. But I want you to remember something. When you're feeling lost, remember that you have a father who loved you. And that love doesn't stop just because I'm not there. Asterisk, asterisk, I'll always be with you. In the way you walk. In the way you talk. In the way you hold your coffee cup. I'm a pa-RT of you, Derek. And you're a pa-RT of me. Asterisk. Asterisk, that's how love works. It doesn't end. Asterisk, asterisk, dot asterisk. I put the letter back in the drawer. I closed it. I locked it with the key, and I'd give them to Derek. Not now. Not all at once. But I'd give them to him, one at a time. The way his father would have wanted dot, because that was the gift. Not the money. Not the house. Not the portfolio dot. The gift was knowing. Knowing that he was loved. Knowing that he was chosen dot. And I was going to make sure he never forgot. The next Sunday at 7 p.m., the phone rang. Mom, hi, Derek. I got a promotion. A promotion at the Ha RDWA Restore. I'm now in Cha RG of the paint department. That's wonderful. I know it's not a big deal, but it's something. It's everything. I'm so proud of you. He was quiet for a moment. Then he said, I've been thinking about Dad. About what he said in the letter. About love being simple. Are you still thinking about that? I'm always thinking about it. It's like a song I can't get out of my head. The good kind of song, the good kind. The kind that makes you want to be better. I smiled. I couldn't help it. That's a good song to have. On the 12th Sunday, Derek said something unexpected. Mom, I met someone. Someone, a woman. She works at the coffee shop I go to. We've been talking. She's nice. She's really nice. I felt my heart swell. Tell me about her. Her name is Rachel. She's a nurse. She works at the children's hospital. She's kind. She's patient. She's nothing like the women I used to date. What do you mean? The women I used to date were loud. They were aggressive. They were just like me. Angry. Rachel isn't like that.
She's calm.
She makes me feel calm. That sounds wonderful, Derek. It's new. It's really new. I don't even know if it's going anywhere. But she makes me feel like I'm not broken. You're not broken. You never were. You were just hurt. I'm not hurt anymore. I don't think. I just feel normal. Normal is good. Normal is great. He laughed. Normal is boring. Boring is underrated. We talked for another hour. About Rachel. About his job. About Denver. When we hung up, I sat on the porch and watched the STARS. My husband was there. I could feel him. Sitting beside me. Watching the same STARS. He's going to be okay, I said. He's really going to be okay. I imagined my husband nodding. I imagined him smiling. I closed my eyes. And I smiled too, because the story wasn't over. It was just beginning. The Sunday calls turned into a lifeline I didn't know I needed. That every week, at exactly 7 p.m., my phone would buzz. Derek's name would flash on the screen. And for 30 minutes or an hour or sometimes longer, we would talk. About nothing. About everything. About the small details that make up a life. 3 months after he left, he called with news. Mom, I'm bringing Rachel to meet you. I dropped the phone. You're bringing her here next month. We're flying in for the weekend. I want you to meet her. Does she know about everything? Not everything. But she knows I was angry. She knows I wasn't always a good son. She knows you're the most important person in my life. I didn't know what to say. My throat was tight. I swallowed hard. I can't wait to meet her. She's nervous, Derek said. She's worried you won't like her. Tell her I already like her. Any woman who can make my son happy is already a friend of mine.
He laughed.
I'll tell her. But she's still going to be nervous. Good. That means she's CA-res. The weekend came faster than I expected. I cleaned the house. I pruned the roses. I made sure the guest room had fresh sheets and a vase of flowers. I was nervous too. More nervous than I'd been in Yaarest. I picked them up from the airport at noon. I saw Derek first. He was wearing a button-down shirt, clean jeans, new boots. He looked like a different person. He looked like someone who was trying. Then I saw her. Rachel was tall. She had dark hair and kind eyes and a smile that seemed to light up the whole terminal. She was holding Derek's hand. She was holding a small bouquet of flowers when she saw me. She let go of Derek's hand and walked over. "Mrs. Matthews," she said. "It's so nice to finally meet you. Please, call me Eleanor." She handed me the flowers. They were sunflowers. My favorite.
I hadn't told Derek that.
But somehow, she knew. "These are beautiful," I said. "Derek told me you liked them. He said you had them in your wedding bouquet." I looked at Derek. He shrugged. "I remembered. You told me once. When I was a kid." I didn't know what to say. I hugged him. Then I hugged her. And we walked to the CA. The drive home was easy. Rachel asked about the house. She asked about the roses. She asked about the lake house. She was interested. She was kind. She listened in a way that made you want to keep talking. "He's told me so much about you," Rachel said. "About the way you raised him. About how hard you worked." "He was an easy kid," I said. "Mostly." Derek snorted. "I was not an easy kid. I was a nightmare. You weren't a nightmare. You were just spirited." Rachel laughed. "Spirited. That's a nice way of saying difficult." He had his moments, but he also had his heart. He always had a good heart. He just took a while to find it. Derek looked out the window. I saw him blink a few times till we got to the house. Rachel stood in the front yard. She looked at the roses. She looked at the porch. She looked at the swing set. "It's beautiful," she said. "It's exactly how Derek described it. Exactly, he used to talk about this house all the time. About the way the light came through the windows in the morning. About the smell of the kitchen. About the sound of the porch swing." I looked at Derek. He was looking at his shoes. "I didn't know you remembered all that," I said. "I remembered everything," he said. "I just pretended I didn't." We went inside. I gave them the tour. The living room. The kitchen. The study. When we got to the study, Derek stopped. "This was Dad's room," he said. "His chair is still there." Rachel walked over to the chair. She touched the worn arm. "It's so comfortable," she said. "I can feel him." I felt TRS prick my eyes. I can feel the love. It's in this room. It's everywhere." Derek stood in the doorway. His hands were in his pockets. His jaw was tight. "He used to sit here," Derek said. "He used to read to me. Every night. Even when I was too old for it." "I remember," I said. "You pretended not to like it, but you always came." "Because I did like it. I just didn't want to admit it." Rachel walked over to Derek. She took his hand. "That's a good memory," she said. "You should hold on to that." "I'm trying," he said. "Every day I'm trying." That night I made dinner. Potruast. Mashed potatoes. Green beans. The same meal I'd made for Derek his whole childhood. He took one bite and closed his eyes. "It tastes like home," he said. "It tastes like my mother's recipe," I said. "Your grandmother's. She taught me how to say okay."
She taught you, Rachel asked.
I didn't know that. My mother was a wonderful say okay. She taught me everything I know.
And I taught Derek.
Not that he remembers. "I remember," Derek said. "I remember standing on a stool. I remember you showing me how to flip pancakes. I remember burning my first batch." "You did burn them. They were black. We had to scrape the pan."
He laughed.
"I was trying so hard to impress you. You didn't need to impress me. You just needed to be you." Derek looked at Rachel. She smiled at him. It was a smile that said, "I love you." A smile that said, "I'm proud of you."
I saw it.
And I understood that he had found someone, not just a girlfriend, someone who saw him, really saw him, and loved him anyway. After dinner, we sat on the porch. The stars were out. The crickets were loud. The air was warm and soft. "This is the best party," Rachel said.
The porch.
"I can see why you love it." "It's peaceful," I said. "It's where I come to think." "What do you think about?" I looked at her. "I think about my husband. I think about the life we had. I think about how lucky I was." "Do you miss him every day?" "But the missing is different now. It's not Shaw RP anymore. It's just there, like a background hum." Rachel nodded. "That's how I felt when my mom died. It took years for the sharpness to fade. Your mom died a long time ago. Breast cancer. I was 16. I reached over and took her hand. I'm sorry. I'm okay now. It took a while, but I'm okay. Derek looked at her. She never told me that. There's a lot we haven't told each other, Rachel said. But we're getting there. I watched them. I watched the way he looked at her, the way she leaned into him. It was real. It was solid. It was everything a relationship should be. You two are good together, I said. We're trying, Rachel said. Trying is all that matters. The next morning, I woke up to the smell of coffee. I walked into the kitchen. Derek was at the stove. Rachel was at the table. They were making breakfast. Pancakes, Derek said. I remembered how to flip them. Did you burn them? Not a single one. Watch. He flipped a pancake in the air. It landed perfectly in the pan. Rachel clapped. He bowed. Show off, she said. Maybe. But you love it. She stood up. She kissed him on the cheek.
Ido.
I really do. I watched them from the doorway. I felt a warmth spread through my chest. It was the same warmth I'd felt when I watched my husband okay breakfast. The same warmth I'd felt when I watched Derek take his first steps. It was love, pure and simple. We ate breakfast together. We talked about Derek's job, about Rachel's work, about their plans. They were planning to move in together. They were talking about marriage. Not right away. But eventually, he told me you were a good man, Rachel said. But I didn't believe him until I saw you. I'm not always good, Derek said. I'm still Leah Renning. Aren't we all? I said after breakfast. Derek said, Mom, can we take a walk, just the two of us? I knew what he wanted. We walked to the backyard road. The swing set was still there. Rusted.
Broken.
But still there. I want to fix it, he said. The swing set, I want to fix it. I want to clean it up. Replace the chains.
Paint it.
Make it new again. Why? Because I'm going to have kids someday. And I want them to have a swing set. A good one. One their grandfather would be proud of. I felt tears in my eyes. You're going to have kids. I'm going to try. I'm going to do everything right. I'm going to be the father Dad was. The one who stayed. The one who chose. He would be so proud of you. I said, I know. I feel it. I feel him everywhere. We stood there, mother and son, in the backyard where he'd grown up. I love you, Mom, he said. I love you too. I've always loved you. I know. I just didn't see it. But I see it now. I see everything. He hugged me. A long hug. A hug that said everything. That afternoon, we went to the lake house. Rachel had never been. She stood on the dock and looked out at the water. He talked about this place too, she said. He said it was his father's favorite place. It was. He used to fish every morning. He wanted to bring me here. He said it was important. He said I needed to see where he came from. I looked at Derek. He was standing at the end of the dock. His hands were in his pockets. He was looking at the water. He's come a long way, Rachel said. When I met him, he was still so angry. He's not angry anymore. He's not really. He still has his moments. But he's Leah Renning to let go. That's hard, I said. Letting go is the hardest thing. It is. But he's doing it. Every day, he's doing it. We spent the whole day at the lake. Fishing. Swimming.
Sitting on the dock.
Derek built a fire. We roasted hot dogs. We watched the sun set. This is perfect, Rachel said. I don't think I've ever been this happy. Derek looked at her. Neither have I. I looked at them. The firelight danced across their faces. They were young. They were in love. They had their whole lives ahead of them. And I was happy for them. Truly happy. That night, Derek and Rachel slept in the loft. I slept in my husband's room. The room we'd shared for 30 years. I lay in bed. The sheets smelled like him. Not really. But I imagined they did. I imagined he was beside me. He's going to be okay, I said out loud. He found someone good. He's going to be a father. He's going to be happy. I felt a warmth in the room. A presence. I knew it was him. I miss you, I said. Every day I miss you. But I'm okay. I'm really okay. The wa-rmth grew stronger. I closed my eyes. I fell asleep. That I dreamed of my husband. He was young. He was healthy. He was smiling. Hi, I said. Hi, he said. Is it real? It's real enough. Tell me what to do. Tell me what comes next. He smiled. You already know what to do. You've always known. Tell me anyway. He took my hand. You live. You love. You let go. And you never, ever stop fighting for the people you love. I woke up with TRS on my face. But they weren't sad TRS. They were grateful TRS. Derek and Rachel left the next day. I drove them to the airport. I hugged them both. Come back soon. I said, we will. Derek said, I promise. I love you, Derek. I love you too, Mom. Rachel hugged me. Thank you for raising such a wonderful man. I didn't raise him. He raised himself. I just helped a little. You helped a lot. And I'm grateful. They walked through security. They waved. I waved back. But then they were gone. I drove home. The house was quiet. But it wasn't empty. It was full of memories. Full of love. I walked to the study. I opened the drawer. I pulled out another letter. This one was dated 2 years before my husband died. D.A.R. Derek. Asterisk, I'm writing this because I want you to know something. You not your anger. You not your mistakes. You a good man. And I believe in you. Asterisk, I know life hasn't been easy. I know you felt lost. I know you felt like you don't belong.
But you do belong.
You belong here. With us. With me. Asterisk, I am your father. Not because I raised you, but because I chose you. And I will always choose you. Asterisk, that's what love is. It's a choice. Every single day. Asterisk, Dad asterisk. I folded the letter. I put it back in the drawer. I would give it to Derek next time. When he was ready. The Sunday calls continued. Every week, at exactly 7 p.m., my phone would ring. And every week, I would answer. On the 30th Sunday, Derek had news. Mom, I asked Rachel to marry me. My heart stopped. And she said yes. I couldn't speak. I was crying. I was laughing. I was feeling more joy than I'd felt in years. That's wonderful. I said. That's the most wonderful thing I've ever heard. We want to have the wedding here. At the house. Here, on the back lawn. Under the trees. The way you and Dad had your wedding. I didn't know he knew that. I'd told him once. Years ago. When he was just a kid, you remembered. I said, I remembered everything. I just pretended I didn't. The wedding will be beautiful. Mom, will you walk me down the aisle? I stopped breathing. What? Dad's not here. And you're the one who raised me. You're the one who never gave up. You're the one who believed in me. I want you to walk me down the aisle. I didn't have words. I just had TRS. Enjoyed. I would be honored, I said. I would be so honored. We talked about the wedding, the flowers, the food, the music. We talked for hours. When I hung up, I walked to the porch. I sat on the swing. The stars were out. The air was warm. He's getting married, I said out loud. Our little boy is getting married. I imagined my husband beside me. I imagined him smiling. He's going to be so happy, I said. And so am I. The wedding was 3 months later. The back lawn was transformed. White chairs. A flower arch. A path of rose petals. Rachel's family came. Derek's few friends came.
And I came.
I walked Derek down the aisle. He was nervous. His hands were shaking. Breathe, I whispered. You've got this. He took a deep breath. He let it out. Okay, he said. I'm ready. I hugged him. I gave him to Rachel. She was beautiful. She was glowing. I love you, he said to her. I love you too, she said. The ceremony was short. The vows were simple. They promised to love each other, to honor each other, to choose each other every single day. I watched them. I watched the way he looked at her, the way she looked at him. They were building something. Something real. Something lasting. At the reception, Derek gave a speech. I wasn't always a good son, he said. I was angry. I was resentful. I blamed my mother for things that weren't her fault. I blamed my father for things that weren't his fault. I blamed everyone except myself.
He looked at me.
His eyes were wet, but my mother never gave up on me. She read my father's will. She told me the truth. And she waited. She waited for me to get it, to understand, to see. He raised his glass to my mother, the strongest woman I know, the one who taught me what love really is. Everyone raised their glasses. I couldn't speak. I just smiled and I knew in that moment that everything had been worth it, the pain, the secrets, the anger, the reconciliation. It had all led to this, to a son who had found his way, to a daughter-in-law who was family now, to a future that was bright and full of promise. That I danced that night. I danced with Derek. I danced with Rachel. I danced with my husband's memory, and I smiled. And I laughed. And I felt more alive than I'd felt in Yarest at the end of the night. Derek and Rachel left for their honeymoon. They hugged me at the door.
"Thank you, Mom," Derek said.
"For everything. You don't have to thank me. You just have to be happy." I am. For the first time in my life, I really am. Rachel hugged me. "You're the best mother-in-law I could have ever hoped for. You're the best daughter-in-law I could have ever hoped for." They drove away. The taillights dissipated red into the night. I stood near the road. The stars were out. The air was cool. And I was surrounded by the sound of crickets and the scent of roses. I walked to the study. I opened the drawer. I pulled out the last letter, the one my husband had written in his final week. "Dear Eleanor, *, by the time you read this, I'll be gone. But I want you to know something. I'm not afraid. I'm not sad. I'm at peace. *, I've lived a good life. I've loved a good woman. I've raised a good son. And I've done it all with my eyes open. *, thank you. For everything. For the love. For the laughter. For the TRS. For every single moment. *, I'll be waiting. Not in heaven. I don't know if I believe in that. But somewhere. Somewhere quiet. Where the coffee is hot and the sun sets low. *, come find me when you're ready. *, take your time. Oh, *, I'm not going anywhere. *, always. *, your husband. I folded the letter. I pressed it to my chest. "I'll find you," I said. "Not yet, but someday." I walked to the porch. I sat on the swing. I looked at the stars and I felt peace. Real peace. The kind that comes from knowing you've done everything right. The kind that comes from letting go the story wasn't over. It was just beginning. My son had found his way home. And so had I. Because love is simple. It's always been simple. We're the ones who make it complicated. And that's the lesson. That's the only lesson. Choose love. Every single day, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, RT with love. And with love. And everything else will follow. If you enjoyed this story, hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Because your stories matter. Your voices matter. And I want to hear every single one of them.